Your kidneys filter 200 liters of blood every single day. And right now, something sitting in your kitchen is slowly destroying them. You probably used it today. The damage doesn't show up until your kidneys are already running at less than 25% function. And by then, in millions of cases, it's irreversible. No pain, no warning, just silent destruction. A 2023 analysis in The Lancet found chronic kidney disease now affects over 850 million people worldwide, more than diabetes and cancer combined. We're not talking about alcohol or obvious junk food. We're talking about 4 foods hiding in plain sight. Foods marketed as healthy. Foods your doctor never warned you about. And the number 1 food on this list, the most damaging one, has a study behind it so alarming, researchers called for an immediate public health response. Stay until the end for that one. Number 4, processed deli meats and cured meats. It's one that tends to catch people off guard because it sounds like a perfectly reasonable lunch option. We are talking about processed deli meats. Things like bologna, salami, packaged turkey slices, hot dogs, and cured sausages. These products line the refrigerated aisle at every grocery store, and they are especially popular among older adults because they are cheap, easy, and require no cooking. But here is what is happening inside your body every time you eat them. The core problem is phosphate additives. Now, phosphorus is actually a mineral your body needs. It helps build bones and power your cells. Healthy kidneys filter out excess phosphorus with no problem. But processed meats don't just contain natural phosphorus. They are injected with inorganic phosphate salts during manufacturing. These synthetic additives are used to improve texture, extend shelf life, and enhance flavor. The difference matters enormously to your kidneys. Natural phosphorus from whole foods like fish or eggs gets absorbed at a rate of about 40 to 60%. Your gut has a built-in system that slows it down. But inorganic phosphate additives? Your body absorbs up to 90% of those almost immediately. That means a massive phosphorus spike hits your bloodstream fast, and your kidneys have to work in overdrive to clear it. Do this repeatedly, day after day, year after year, and the cumulative strain causes real, measurable structural damage to the kidney's filtering tissue. A major study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 3,000 adults and found that those with the highest intake of processed meat had a 32% greater risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who ate the least. A separate analysis from the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that replacing just 1 serving of red processed meat per day with a plant-based protein source reduced kidney disease progression risk by 23%. These are not small numbers. For seniors specifically, the danger is amplified considerably. As you age, your kidneys naturally lose filtering efficiency, roughly 1% of kidney function per year after age 40. So you are starting from a lower baseline, which means the phosphate burden hits harder and recovers slower. Now, the good news is that you do not have to give up savory protein entirely. The best swap is home-roasted meats with no added phosphate preservatives. When you buy a whole chicken breast or a fresh turkey tenderloin and cook it yourself, you control exactly what goes in. Check labels on any packaged meat product. If you see sodium phosphate, potassium phosphate, or any form of phosphate in the ingredients, put it back. Many stores now carry phosphate-free deli options, and those are a far safer choice. Pair your protein with kidney-friendly herbs like garlic and rosemary, which have anti-inflammatory properties that may help protect kidney tissue over time. Now let's move up the list to something far more sneaky, a food that billions of people consider a daily health ritual. If this is eye-opening so far, hit subscribe. We cover senior health topics that most doctors never take time to explain. Number 3. Bottled fruit juices and sweetened drinks. Number 3 is going to surprise a lot of people because it is something widely considered a health food, especially for older adults. We are talking about bottled fruit juice, orange juice, apple juice, grape juice, cranberry juice, along with sweetened sports drinks and vitamin waters. These products are in millions of refrigerators right now. Families give them to grandparents. Doctors sometimes even recommend them for hydration. But the research tells a very different story. The primary issue here is fructose, specifically high fructose corn syrup and concentrated fruit sugars added during processing. When you eat a whole orange, the fiber in that fruit slows the absorption of its natural sugars. Your kidneys barely notice. But when you drink a bottled juice, that fiber is gone. You are getting a concentrated rush of fructose with nothing to slow it down. And fructose metabolizes very differently from glucose. It goes directly to the liver, triggers uric acid production, and uric acid is one of the most damaging substances your kidneys have to deal with. Here is the science in plain terms. Uric acid forms crystals. Those crystals can lodge inside the tiny filtering units of the kidney, called nephrons, and cause scarring. That scarring is permanent. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology tracked over 15,000 adults for 25 years and found that people who consumed more than one sugar-sweetened beverage per day had a 61% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease than those who drank none whatsoever. 61%. That number was consistent across multiple demographic groups. Another study, published in Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, specifically looked at fructose intake in adults over 60 and found it was independently associated with a 40% faster rate of kidney function decline compared to age-matched peers who avoided fructose-heavy drinks. The kidneys of older adults are simply less equipped to manage repeated uric acid spikes. There is also a blood pressure connection. High fructose intake is directly linked to elevated blood pressure through its effect on the renin-angiotensin system, which is the hormonal pathway your kidneys use to regulate blood pressure. When fructose constantly activates this system, it creates chronic inflammation inside the kidney's blood vessels. Over years, those vessels narrow and harden, reducing blood flow and accelerating damage. The fix here is actually quite straightforward. Water is the single best thing you can drink for your kidneys, full stop. If plain water feels boring, try infusing it with cucumber slices, fresh lemon, or mint leaves. Unsweetened hibiscus tea is a genuinely excellent choice. A well-known study in the Journal of Human Hypertension found that 3 cups daily of hibiscus tea lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 points in adults with mild hypertension, which directly protects kidney health and reduces glomerular pressure over time. If you do want juice, squeeze it fresh yourself from whole fruit and limit it to 4 ounces. That way you keep some of the fiber and avoid the concentrated sugar hit entirely. Up next is number 2, and this one might be sitting in your medicine cabinet right now, not your pantry. Number 2. High-dose protein supplements and powders. Number 2 is one that many seniors are actively encouraged to consume, and that is exactly what makes it so dangerous. We are talking about high-dose protein supplements, whey protein powders, protein shakes, collagen supplements in mega doses, and certain protein-fortified food products. The fitness and wellness industry has done a brilliant job of convincing older adults that more protein equals better health. The truth is far more complicated. Your kidneys are the organs responsible for filtering the waste products of protein metabolism. When you digest protein, it breaks down into amino acids, and the byproduct of that process is nitrogen waste, primarily in the form of urea. Your kidneys must filter that urea out of your blood and excrete it in urine. This is normal and manageable when protein intake is moderate. But when you are drinking 2 or 3 scoops of whey protein daily on top of your regular meals, you are flooding your kidneys with far more nitrogen waste than they were designed to handle consistently. A pivotal study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that adults with even mildly reduced kidney function, which includes a large percentage of people over 60 who don't even know it, who consumed high-protein diets had a 1.69 times greater rate of kidney function decline over 4 years compared to those with moderate protein intake. That figure translates to losing years of kidney health in exchange for marginal muscle gains. The issue with supplement powders specifically is that many are also loaded with additives your kidneys struggle with, artificial sweeteners like acesulfame potassium, thickening agents, and again, phosphate additives used to improve texture and mixability. A 2020 independent lab analysis published in the Clean Label Project tested 134 best-selling protein powders and found that 55% contained detectable levels of BPA, a chemical linked to kidney inflammation. Over 70% contained measurable levels of heavy metals, including lead, arsenic, and cadmium, all of which accumulate in kidney tissue over time. Cadmium is particularly alarming. It mimics zinc in the body, gets absorbed into kidney cells, and causes direct tubular damage, meaning it destroys the actual tubes inside the kidney responsible for filtering blood. Unlike many toxins, cadmium doesn't flush out easily. It has a biological half-life of 10 to 30 years in the kidneys, meaning once it accumulates, it stays. Repeated daily exposure from protein supplements compounds this dramatically over years. The goal of protecting your muscle mass as you age is completely valid and important. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, is a genuine and serious health threat. But the way to fight it is not through synthetic megadose powders. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that distributing protein evenly across 3 whole food meals, targeting about 25 to 30 grams per meal from sources like eggs, legumes, fatty fish, and Greek yogurt, produced superior muscle protein synthesis outcomes compared to a single large protein bolus from supplements. Your kidneys handle smaller, spaced-out protein loads dramatically better than one large hit. If you feel you need a supplement, choose a plant-based option with a short, clean ingredient list. Limit it to 1 serving per day, and drink plenty of water throughout the day to help your kidneys flush the nitrogen load efficiently. And now we arrive at number 1, the food that researchers said should be at the center of a global public health conversation. This one is going to genuinely shock you. Number 1, excess dietary salt and sodium-loaded packaged foods. Number 1 is salt. But before you roll your eyes and think you already know this one, stop. Because what the most recent research has revealed about sodium and kidney destruction goes far, far beyond blood pressure. This is not the conversation you have heard before. This is something doctors are only beginning to fully understand, and the scale of damage is staggering. The specific study that shook the nephrology world was published in 2023 in the European Heart Journal. It analyzed data from over 460,000 participants in the UK Biobank and examined how frequently people added salt to their food. Not just how much salt was in their diet, but the active habit of salting food at the table or during cooking, above and beyond what was already in packaged products. What they found was extraordinary. People who always added salt to their food had a 29% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who never or rarely added salt. And when they cross-referenced with biological markers, they found that habitual salt users showed measurably higher levels of kidney injury biomarkers in their urine, even when other dietary variables were controlled. But the mechanism goes deeper than most people realize. Yes, excess sodium raises blood pressure, and high blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney failure after diabetes. That connection is well established. But sodium also directly damages the glomeruli, the tiny, delicate filtering clusters inside each nephron. Your kidneys contain about 1 million nephrons each, and each one has a glomerulus at its center that acts like a microscopic sieve. Chronic sodium overload causes the blood vessels feeding those glomeruli to thicken and constrict. Blood pressure inside the glomerulus goes up, and that internal pressure physically damages the filter membrane. Once those membranes scar, a condition called glomerulosclerosis, The damage is permanent. You cannot regrow nephrons. Scientists confirmed this years ago. What you lose is gone. Here is what makes the situation so dangerous for most people. The American Heart Association recommends a maximum of 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. The average American consumes closer to 3,400 milligrams. And for seniors, many of whom rely heavily on canned foods, frozen meals, and packaged soups for convenience, the number is often far higher. A single can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup contains approximately 890 milligrams of sodium, nearly 40% of the recommended daily limit in one small serving. Many frozen dinners marketed as healthy or senior-friendly contain 1,000 to 1,400 milligrams per serving. Eat 2 of those in a day along with regular seasoning and condiments, and you are well past 3,500 milligrams without even realizing it. A study from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health followed over 3,700 adults with early-stage chronic kidney disease and found that those with sodium intake above 2,300 milligrams per day progressed to end-stage renal failure, meaning they needed dialysis or a transplant, at a rate 54% higher than those who kept sodium below that threshold. 54% faster disease progression. That is not a minor statistical difference. That is the difference between managing kidney disease and living on a dialysis machine 3 days a week for seniors who already have reduced kidney function. And remember, most people don't know they do. The stakes are even higher. The kidneys of a 70-year-old are filtering blood with roughly 30 to 40% less capacity than they had at age 30. That means sodium clears more slowly, accumulates longer, and causes proportionally more damage per milligram consumed. So what do? The most impactful change you can make is to stop salting food at the table entirely and start reading labels with fresh eyes. Look for products with less than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. That is the threshold the FDA uses to classify something as low sodium. Switch canned beans and vegetables to the no salt added versions. They taste nearly identical with a small adjustment period of about 2 weeks, which is how long it takes your taste buds to recalibrate. Use herbs aggressively to replace salt. Fresh rosemary, thyme, cumin, turmeric, lemon zest, and garlic add enormous depth of flavor with zero sodium load. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who switched to an herb-heavy seasoning approach consumed 966 fewer milligrams of sodium per day on average without feeling deprived. That reduction alone puts you well within a kidney-safe range. Cook from whole ingredients as often as possible. Use low-sodium broth for soups and stews. And if you need a salt-like flavor boost, potassium chloride-based salt substitutes, such as new salt or Morton salt substitute, can help bridge the gap. Though, if you have advanced kidney disease, check with your doctor first since potassium management becomes important at that stage. Small changes made consistently are far more powerful than dramatic short-term overhauls. Your kidneys respond to what you do every single day, not just occasionally. Your kidneys are working silently, every single minute of every day, to keep you alive. They do not send you pain signals until the damage is severe. The best time to start protecting them was years ago. The second best time is right now, with the very next meal you eat. Protect them now with the choices you make in your kitchen today. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these 4 foods surprised you the most? And have you or someone you know been diagnosed with kidney disease? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.